Hey, Mark Rodriguez here. I got some news. I just saw this new cool preview clip of the episode of Turtles, a Nickelodeon cartoon show. On March 27th, they're going to make an episode where the Turtles from Nickelodeon get to meet the 80s Turtles. And it's like this weird thing that whenever they're in the 80s world, the CGI Turtles will be drawn in standard cartoon animation style. And whenever they go to the Nick world, the 80s Turtles will be drawn like in that rendered 3D, CGI graphic style. It could be interesting. And the best part is, of course, that this time they have all the original voice actors, which is, of course, a little bit easier because the guy who voiced Raphael in the old 80s show is the same guy who voices Donatello nowadays. And yeah, they did show this kind of clip, this like unfinished, like the sketches, storyboard sketches or whatever in a con last year. It showed that I guess 80's Donatello had some kind of portable, like a portable portal device thing that kind of sort of looked like a gun or some kind of weapon. So the Nick Turtles thought that they were going to get attacked. They kind of fight it out. The usual hero crossover misunderstanding until they're all on the same page. And apparently the 80's Krang is up to something or other and they got to stop him and whatever. So they showed that clip there. So now we got a new clip, an actual finished version clip of the Turtles all going into the Nickelodeon world, and of course the 80s Turtles are kind of surprised and shocked how they look like now in the 3D rendered style and everything. And yeah, the Turtles, the first thing they want to do is run into a pizzeria just like that, broad daylight, and the Nick Turtle stopped them and remind them, hey, you gotta be ninjas, you gotta hide in the dark and all that stuff. Now, yes, I heard complaints about that. Yes, I know it's the same joke that they kind of did with Turtles Forever, where they just want to run into the pizzeria broad daylight. You do have to remember, though, that while in the first season or so, I think up to season 3, like the first part, the Turtles were still pretty much in hiding and stuff. But like later on throughout the series, I mean, they became so much more popular that they did kind of sort of walk around. I mean, even the pizzeria guy knew there were turtles. They didn't care. I mean, like they were like kind of well known. There was even an episode where a police officer held a gun at them, and they're like, "Really? We're like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, don't you watch TV?" And the cops still had them like tied up somewhere, and the Turtles were like in disbelief, because they're so used to being known as heroes. They don't do that much of the hiding in the shadows stuff. So yeah, it is kind of fair. The Turtles would just dash into a pizzeria, at least in the later seasons of the show. But one thing though is the animation style. I do notice that, well, they showed for a very short scene of when Donatello opened the portal and stuff. The Turtles, the Nick Turtles, if you read the Turtle comic books, the animated adventure comic books, that's basically how they look like when they're drawn like 2D style. I do notice they're still using that weird flash animation. It looks extremely cartoony and goofy, even for 80s Turtle standards, but it's a CGI cartoon show, so they're not really good at making like traditional hand-drawn animation. I guess they go for the flash approach. And as for the 3D Turtles, they look kind of weird. It's gonna take a while to get used to. They look a little stiff too. It's kind of weird because I mean, this is not like, this is modern day cartoon. It shouldn't look like that. I don't know. It'll take me a while for it to grow on me. And I did see designs what the 3D Krang was going to look like. For some reason, like the robot body looks very big and fat or whatever. Like, I don't know why from transition to 2D to 3D, like it gained weight. I don't know. But one last thing I gotta say, the voices do sound a lot better now because, I mean, come on, these guys have I don't know really what they've done throughout the years, if they voiced other cartoons or not, but they haven't done the turtle voices in a long time, like it takes time. So when they appeared in one of the episodes, in the season 2 episode, there was a minor scene where the turtles were able to see different dimensions and they actually saw the 80s Turtles. The episode ended with Tiger Claw and a giant worm going to the 80s world and the 80s Turtles hopping down to check it out. And during that little scene, Leonardo's voice and I think Michelangelo, it sounded like a little off, like it's them, but like they were kind of like, out of practice, kind of rusty. But now it sounds real good. Like their voices, like they're like straight out of the 80s show. Like they really got like the vibe back. And Michelangelo, Leonardo, they both sound like exactly like the old cartoon. They must have like did a lot of practice or whatever before this episode. The only disappointing thing is that it seems to be just an episode. It's not, like, I knew it wasn't going to be a movie. I know that, but it should at least been like a 2-part episode or something. So, whatever they're going to do, they're going to somehow cram it into 30 minutes or less because commercials or whatever. So, I don't know how that's going to work out. But either way, it is still cool to see them. I do know that the main villain is 80's Krang. I don't know how that's going to relate to, the Nick Shredder the foot or whatever. And I don't know, I have not heard anything at all of the original, the 80s Shredder and whatever. Now, Beat Up Rocksteady are not that hard because the guy who voices Leonardo and the guy who voices Donatello, I think it was Donatello, they voiced Beat Up and Rocksteady anyway in the 80s. It's just Shredder that's the problem because, you know, James Avery, may he rest in peace and stuff. But, yeah, it is curious that this time, like, Krang is behind the evil plan, like, by himself, I guess, not the others, unless he mentions Shredder. I don't know. But anyways, that's the clip. I want to put the link down below so you can check it out. It's pretty awesome. March 27th. And I'll probably post a review or a blog article. I know I haven't really seen the show that much. It did kind of make me lose my interest. But I did want to see the crossover. So I'll probably give you information on that. So anyways, guys, Mark Rodriguez here. And see y'all in Turtle Town, I guess.